I was going to record this outside in this little table area next to a loading zone, but the wind made me come inside. I went there because no one was around and I needed time to think. I tried to read for syntax, but the wind seemed to be blowing my concentration away along with the leaves and pollen. I was sitting there in the sun, wondering why my life has been so easy. All of these bombings and shootings and rapes, and my life has been pretty much free of tragedy. How have I been so lucky when others get so hurt? I don't know how to respond to things like the bombing in Boston. I tend to disconnect and get analytical. Lots of people in the hours after the bombings were saying stuff like, "This happens every day in Iraq," but I'm not sure that's helpful for the people who are hurting now, and I don't want to grief juke anybody, but it is true that we don't want to be the special snowflakes of the world. As close to home as any US tragedy hits, it still hasn't hit very close to my home. It's as strange for me to think about losing a son in Boston as it is to think about losing a brother in Syria. Both are inconceivable. I'm too young and too sheltered to have any relevant opinions about tragedies of this magnitude. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a child because I can't even imagine what it would be like to have a child. We still don't have a very good idea of what happened on Monday, but I think that's okay. There have already been too many people jumping to conclusions and speculating about people based on religion or race. And I think this kind of comes from our tendency in America to do something when something bad happens. Track down the bad guy, bake a casserole, shout our thoughts on Twitter. But sometimes I think the best thing we can do is slow down and pay attention to life. Our lives, but also the lives of others. It's hard for me to personalize tragedy because I have very little to compare it to in my own life. But I can see when someone's hurting, whether they're in Boston or in Syria or on the street corner. I don't have to be hurting to imagine others complexly and have empathy. Sometimes it's better to be still and learn than to try to fix everything. I don't even know how to fix my own term papers. Who am I to say what law enforcement or anyone else should be doing? So right now, let's not try to fix anyone's grief. Let's grieve with them. Let's not try to fix the whole world as we think it should be, but make it better for the guy sleeping on the park bench across the street.